Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome for take three, believe it or not. This is take three of the video that I wanted to make today, and now I'm a little self-conscious and I want to see if I have all the audio and everything right. No, I don't. Testing one, two. I need some feedback here. Testing one, two. Are we good? Can you hear me? I'm going to turn on my phone real quick. What's up, Aftmost? Let me get the live stream. I was on, for some reason, everything went to default. So I hope that you can hear me. We're all good. Oh my goodness. What a day. What a day. So, hey, everybody, here is what I want to do. I want to talk about the things that I talked about in my video before. So I made an entire video. I uploaded it to YouTube and it had no audio because everything reset to default. Everything, it's like, I didn't do that. Why would that happen? I don't know. So anyway, the two big things that are going on right now, as far as, and I'm going to rank them. I'm getting a ton of questions about the Russia Ukraine conflict. And then I'm also getting, a lot of questions about the Federal Reserve, where there's an emergency Fed meeting today. And so what's going to go on with that? What's happening right now? Lots of fear in the market. And so the very first thing I want to talk about is uh, the bigger of the two, in my opinion, which is the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, before I even dive into this, I want to be clear about something. I don't own a TV. I have not owned a TV for 20 years, and I rarely ever watch the news. My news consumption is mostly article titles that people share with me, or that I might see randomly on social media. But other than that, I rarely ever go to CNN.com, FoxNews.com, MSNBC.com, Yahoo Finance. I'll check Yahoo Finance for prices of things occasionally. So that's either going to be helpful or not helpful. There's probably some perspectives that I have that I'm just like, okay, so I'm not listening to the mainstream media, what they're saying about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I'm looking at the charts and I'm gathering a little bit of data from maybe some contrarian sources, and that's about it. And so the first thing that I'll say about this is quite simply, there is a saying, and I believe it to be true, that the charts tell the news. Okay, the charts, to show me the charts and I'll show you the news. Now, I am not. There are other people that I would recommend who would be like hit the nail on the head types of people with this, and I am going to recommend some of those people. But I'm looking at the charts, and I just don't see the news of pending doom playing out right now. We are trading within fib levels. We're trading just fine within fib levels, and we are getting resistance at the 21-week EMA, $45,000 range. 21-week EMA is now at $46,300, and that'll will eventually break through that, in my opinion. Bull market support band, lots of resistance up there, and also on the bottom end, lots of interest from whales, from wallets of all sizes, in buying at sub $40,000 Bitcoin and in the lower 40,000s. And so we're in this range, and then nothing's changed about that. And so, as far as I am concerned, the charts are not telling the news. And what does that even mean? It means that, as people see things playing themselves out, they will go, smarter people, the smart money will go risk off, and then the dump will come, and everyone will panic, just like, if I can get there, the COVID crash in 2013, in 2013, 2020, 2013. My goodness, the charts were telling the news. There were people, not me at the time. I would say I've grown a lot as I've started my channel and understanding this stuff, but there were people at that time saying that the charts were pointing to some kind of pretty severe crash. And even then, it's like that was a very much a V-shaped recovery. And so the charts were showing what was going to happen according to people much smarter than myself at the time, at least, you know. And so, who would I recommend to for you guys to look at, to follow? And if you see any warning signs from them, it's like, okay, go risk off. There's a couple people. I'll recommend two real quick. Oh man, he's not on here right now. The first would be Lewis Raskin. I've talked about him a decent amount recently on my live streams. He's just killing it. So he exited really hard at the top in November, and he also I remember a video. It blew me away. So he was like, guys, if Bitcoin drops down to $32,000, I am selling everything and getting into Bitcoin and, you know, in Ethereum and quant. I am dumping my bag, like dumping my real estate, my bags, my real estate bags. He was exaggerating a little bit. You know, I'm selling a kidney. I am all in at $32,000. And then what happened? You know, we got to $32,700. He doesn't have a big following, 5,790 followers, but he's been doing very well for himself lately, and he's underrated. He's super underrated. The second person that I would recommend, he drives me crazy. He's obnoxious. I can't stand him, but I can't argue with accuracy. It's his name is Pentoshi, or that's his username on Twitter. It has a huge following, very much different from Lewis Raskin. And you know, he offers generally a contrarian view, and it's always good. That's why the Blockchain Backer is my favorite cryptocurrency analyzer on YouTube. Is that he's a bit of a contrarian. I want to absorb information from people who just think a little bit different than I do, and Pentoshi very much is one of those people. Now he's awfully bleak. In one regard, I mean, as far bleak as in like we're not going to the moon, and he's informed my opinion pretty heavily that I just don't think there's going to be anything extraordinary that's going to happen as far as new all-time highs, going to six figures in the first half or three quarters of the year. So I really like him. I like him and Lewis. There's plenty of other people I could recommend, but those are people that I would say, hey, you know, follow these people on Twitter. But anyway, so the charts aren't telling news with the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The other thing that I would say is just like listening to some of these contrarian opinions as far as where I'm getting my news sources, because I see what the mainstream media is saying. They're very much trying to drum up this is a huge threat. You've got to be very careful here. Here's some things that I'm reading about and you know, listening to from just like opinions that are out there. It's one is that in the Ukraine, people are just living their normal lives. It's like they're waking up, having breakfast, going to school, going to work. That the people who, at least on my live stream, are asking me, you know, what do you think about this Russia-Ukraine conflict? That there's probably more fear in their minds than people on the ground in the Ukraine. And it's mostly, you know, they're just afraid of losing their money. And so I understand that, but that people in the Ukraine are just going about their daily lives, that they're not as afraid as those of us in the United States are, which should tell you something. You know, mainstream media, all that stuff. And the other thing, what was the other thing that I was thinking about? It seems to me, all right, I just, you know, being a little bit more skeptical. When I was a kid, it was like USA all the way. We're the good guys. Everyone else, it's either people who are the bad guys, or we got to protect the innocent people in these third world countries from the bad guys. And so I'm a little bit skeptical right now of the United States in this, that it seems like we are more interested in making this a bigger deal than other countries are. Now, take that how you will, because again, I am not consuming this stuff on a daily basis, but it seems to me like the United States, that there's maybe a potential wag the dog thing happening right now, that they want us to be afraid of this, and maybe I need a tinfoil hat on right now, and that this is being blown up a little bit more than it should be. Some of you guys may be thinking I'm crazy right now. Whatever. I will be concerned when I see a reason to be concerned, that this is going to just send everything crashing. And I know I've seen plenty of comments. If Russia invades the Ukraine, everything is going to crash really hard. I'm not disagreeing with that. Okay. I'm not seeing that priced in yet, and it will be priced in. So, first thing. Second thing, the Fed meeting. Fed meeting, emergency Fed meeting going on right now. It started 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I believe that the entire purpose of that Fed meeting is to make a decision to raise rates. And so I will interact with the comments as soon as I'm done talking about this particular point. The Fed meeting, emergency Fed meeting, I think they're talking about raising rates. And what I think they're going to do is raise it 0.5%, which the market, I believe, as of right now, doesn't quite have that priced in. I think what they have priced in is 4 rate raises throughout the year of 2022, one in March, one in June, one in September, one in December. And so if they come out of this meeting, if the Fed comes out of this meeting with a 0.5% interest rate increase, I do believe that there's going to be some short-term pain. But then everything that I've been seeing on chain is that guys, there's so much interest right now in buying at in the $30,000 range. That's why we spent such a short amount. I know I'm sure it felt like forever, but that was a short amount of time where Bitcoin was in the 30s. So there's interest there, and that's what I care about. I care about the charts, and I care about seeing, is there a certain level of interest in buying Bitcoin in the 30s? Yes, absolutely there is. And so whatever news comes, it's like that fact still remains to be true, that there is a lot of interest in buying Bitcoin in the 30s. I don't think that's going to change no matter how scary things get. Now, does that mean we could go below the 30? Sure, we could, but that's where my confidence is placed until things change, until we get new information, new data, whatever you want to call it. And so as far as the Fed raising rates is concerned, logistically, that takes months for it to play out in the market. What would be driving the price down would be fear. The fear of, oh no, interest rates are being raised, and the money, the smart money, they see right through that, and they will gladly buy the dip. And so yeah, we'll go lower short term, but we'll go higher after that, in my opinion. I don't think that there's going to be any kind of mooning as a result of the Fed deciding to raise rates, but we'll see. We're going to have to wait and see, because who knows? Maybe they'll just surprise us. But I think the biggest thing right now is they're trying to combat that inflation. CPI numbers last week was 7.5. They expected 7.2. And so I think the alarms are going off in their heads, much more so probably than it should be, because I don't think that even raising rates to 0.5 or whatever is going to be able to stop the short-term pain of interest rate of inflation rising. I think we're going to continue to rise over the next few months, no matter what happens. Maybe we'll go up to 8, 8.5, 9. And then after that, again, no matter what happens, we'll go back down, and maybe we'll establish some kind of a norm at 3 or 4%. And that's going to be, at least, for the United States. I know that there's people listening right now who are not in the United States, but for us, that's going to have to be the norm over the next several years, is 3 to 4% inflation, according to CPI numbers. So how realistic is that anyway? But that is all that I have. I know that I got some questions last week about a potential Super Bowl pump and then dump. I did not buy that for a second. I know that there are other people talking about that, and that was making me want to pull my hair out, as far as like, why am I getting this question over and over again? And so then we have a Super Bowl pump and dump. The only one that you could say maybe had something kind of like that was crypto.com, but really it wasn't that significant. Crow got up to lower 50s last week. Now it's at 48%, down 6% over the last 24 hours. So that was the only one, and that was the most realistic one that would have any kind of pump and dump. But if you remember when Elon Musk went on SNL, the Dogecoin, more than a week before he went on SNL, started pumping, and I think it doubled in the span of a week, got up to like 75 cents, maybe even more than doubled, before crashing the day of SNL. That was very predictable. And I made a TikTok saying, if you buy Dogecoin right now at 67 cents, you're an idiot. And so we didn't see that throughout the week. And we weren't, so that's what happens with buy the rumor, sell the news. There's some buying and initial excitement throughout the week or even longer before the sell the news event. We weren't going to see anything. People were asking me that question on Saturday. We weren't going to see anything. If we hadn't seen anything by then, we weren't going to see anything at that time, you know? So that's over. Time to move on with our lives. But all right, let's see what we've got here. Everyone can hear me. Awesome. Hello, Lampardolac. Hello, Trump News, Slice of Butter. You should look into Bob Lucas. He's big on Fourier cycles and all that. His new video is very interesting. I will look into that. Bob Lucas. I've heard that name before. I'm not entirely 100% familiar, but I'll check him out. So, all right, that's pretty much. I wanted to go live instead of making a video. This was a second video. This was actually take 3, and I'm kind of glad that my first video didn't get published because it was really sloppy. My 4-year-old son was outside of my door banging everything on the door, and so I had to stop and I didn't edit this out. And I said, Jordan, quiet down. And then I started getting texts that showed up on my computer and everything like that. And so, hello, Eddie, and hello, everybody. I see 30 or so people in here. I hope you have a happy Monday. My Mondays are usually slammed. I might not be able to come back again today, but I will be back in full swing tomorrow. I might go live on TikTok. We'll see. And but yeah. So I will be making a podcast tomorrow, publishing a podcast tomorrow. That's the plan every Tuesday with the podcast. Check that out. World War Bitcoin. You can find it on Spotify, on Apple Pods. I use Podbean, so there's different things like that. Check out the Bear Market Buying Guide, worldwarbitcoin.teachable.com. And if any of you have not yet joined Discord, I am not afraid of Discord anymore. So you should look into Discord. You know, it's not as intimidating as it looks for those of you who are around 40 years old like me, you know. So World War Bitcoin Discord. So yeah, that is it. Have a great week. I will see you at another time. Peace.